Chapter 26. I wished ER shifts ended after dramatic scenes, like a chapter of a good book or an episode of a television drama. If that were the case, I'd be halfway home as the screen faded to black. Instead, I'm stuck in the ER with several hours to go on my shift, while my family enjoys this wonderful change in my mother's health. I've missed enough holidays, birthday parties, even an anniversary or two. I'm used to someone filling me in on the details later, but I've never grown to like it. The next patient's name displayed in red, bold-faced font on the tracking board. This color signified an abnormal vital sign, or other potentially critical result. Next to the name, the chief complaint said shortness of breath. Great. Less vague than the complaint of dizziness, but still a huge list of possibilities to consider. At least this one held the potential for a procedure or two if things got hairy. The patient looked terrible. She sat on the stretcher, upright and leaning forward. Her head bobbed up and down in time with her breaths, as if bellows were attached to the top of her head to help pull air into her lungs. I didn't have time for pleasantries. "Ma'am, I'm Dr. Turner. What's going on?" She gasped a few times, building up the respiratory reserve to utter a few words. "Can't breathe." Tell me something I didn't know. I wished patients had to read a short pamphlet educating them on how to give a proper history. Why do we have to pull it out of them every time? It's like some of them were hostile witnesses in a corporate espionage trial. I can see that. How did it start? How long has it been going on? Her eyes met mine, and she opened her mouth to reply. But then her eyes opened farther, and her mouth went limp along with the rest of her body. She fell backward against the bed and smashed her head into the pillow. "Honey!" A man I hadn't noticed jumped up from a chair in the corner. The nursing team jumped into action and connected her to the monitor while another worked to establish an IV. I stepped to the head of the bed and pulled her jaw forward to open her airway. "Someone get respiratory in here!" Shouts for help in the ER were unusual and always answered by 3 times as many staff as necessary. The patient groaned and then pulled her head away from my hands. After she showed a sign of life, the visitor filled me in on her history. "My wife just left here 3 hours ago. She had a pacemaker put in and they said it went fine. After the procedure, she told them she couldn't breathe, but they still discharged her. She's passed out twice at home, and this is the 3rd time. What's happening? Is she going to be okay?" "I'm concerned she's experienced a complication from the pacemaker. We need to make a diagnosis before I can give you a prognosis, but we should be able to fix whatever this is. I'll be right back." Shortness of breath, hypotension, and passing out after a pacemaker implementation usually meant one thing. The pacemaker wire penetrated the wall of her heart and is causing pressure to build in the sac around the heart, reducing its ability to pump blood. If not corrected quickly, it would be fatal. I stepped out of the room and jogged toward our ultrasound machine. We stored it right in front of the department secretary, which saved me from making a second trip. "Page cardiology and tell them they need to come down immediately. I have a patient with a pericardial effusion that needs drained right now." She nodded and picked up the phone. I pushed the machine back into the room, covered the probe in ultrasound jelly, and held it against her upper chest. A large black stripe surrounded the heart and confirmed my suspicion. "Ma'am, you have a lot of fluid around the outside of your heart. You need another trip to the operating room where the cardiologist can drain it." She had regained her upright pose and her rapid rate of breathing. "I don't care. Do whatever you have to." She glanced sideways at her husband and shook her head. He stepped closer and placed his left hand over hers. He tapped his wedding ring against hers, in time with the heartbeat tone on the monitor.